Hello everybody, welcome to another Pilates class with me, Shane Toal. In this class we're going to be working on some balance, we're going to be working on some mobility and we're going to be working on some core exercises. Before we do start, make sure that you have a comfortable space around you, make sure nobody's going to walk in, make sure you have a little bit of water and get ready to start off with a little warm up at the back of your mat. And if you just take a little moment to center yourself. Always start from the feet, find your heels and settle your heels into the mat. Then find your toes and settle those toes evenly into the mat. And then try and find a balance between the two. Notice the little arches under your feet. Notice the right leg, notice the left leg. And you can move your weight from one side to the other. And this is just a little way of centering yourself. You can feel your body weight as it settles onto your feet, as it moves onto the right foot, and as it moves back onto the left foot. Your goal is to become aware of this and to allow your weight to center and settle in the middle. Once you've done that, move your weight forwards into your toes and back into your heels. Again, take a little moment to recognize how that feels in your feet. You're going to feel your toes lightly gripping the mat. You're going to feel your heels settling into the mat, and you're just going to try and find the center. Once you've done that, make your way up to your knees, give the knees a little shake out, and just let them settle. Not locked, but not quite bent either. Just soft. Bring your attention into your core muscles and feel your belly flattening in under your ribs. As you breathe, try and breathe into your rib cage. Allow the rib cage to open out and close as you breathe. Lateral breathing, in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can feel that rib cage opening and closing as you breathe. And this will allow your tummy muscles to settle in underneath. You should have a little bit of tension in your tummy. And if you were to use your fingers and poke into your tummy like that, and just notice those tummy muscles tighten a little bit as a reaction. That's all we want. Nothing too tight that's going to restrict your breathing in any way, but a little bit of tension to stabilize the core. Bear that in mind as you're doing the rest of the class and as you're doing the rest of the exercises. And from there, just allow your eyes to close. And when your eyes are closed, bring your attention inwards. Notice the weight in your feet. Notice the instep and the outstep. And just settle the weight into the middle. Notice how soft the knees feel. And just feel the muscles in the thighs and the glutes engaged to keep you upright. Notice those core muscles engaged to keep your core stable. Notice the little natural curve in the lower back and make sure that it's not overly arched, but also make sure that it's not flat. And feel your spine standing tall. Just notice those curves in the lower back and in the upper back. And allow your shoulders to relax. Allow the muscles around your neck to relax. Maybe turn your head side to side, trying to loosen out your neck. But always try and encourage your body to stand tall. And take a little moment to experience the breath as it flows in through the nose and back out through the mouth. You're not trying to control the breath, you're just allowing it to flow naturally, allowing it to settle into its natural rhythm. And again, bear that in mind as you're doing the rest of the class. Whenever you're ready, you can open up your eyes, bring yourself back into your room, let your arms relax by your sides, and just start to circle those shoulders. Notice how the shoulders and the neck are linked. Just notice how they feel. Maybe change the direction of the movement. And just notice how the breathing flows. This is quite a relaxing start to the class. And as you allow the shoulders to relax, just take your arms and float them in front of your chest and back down by your sides. This time go a little bit higher as you lift your arms, float them down by your sides. As you go higher, making sure that you're not bending back. So you're keeping your spine nice and tall in its neutral position. But you're allowing that movement to flow. That's one of our key words in this class, that flow and movement. Allow your in-breath to stretch you out and allow your out-breath to float the arms back down. That's good. Take an in-breath, really lengthen the body, as if you're trying to touch the roof. Just imagine there's a chair behind you, and as you float your arms down, bend the knees and lift back up. So how do those knees feel as you do this? I want you to be aware of what's happening with your feet. Make sure that your heels don't lift. Try to keep that weight centered through your feet. And feel your toes lightly engaged with the floor. And let that movement flow. And swing those arms right up behind you. Use the palms of your hands. You can feel your body working as one unit here. So your legs are working with you to bend the knees. Those muscles in the legs and the hips are working to push you back up. Your core muscles feel nice and stable. And we're just loosening up the muscles in the arms and the shoulders. And really encourage your body to lengthen as you lift. We'll do this one more time. As we float those arms back down by your sides. Just float them out and up over your head. And let's start to circle the arms. We want to encourage the arms to lengthen as we move them. And I want you to focus on the top of your arms. The top of the arm as it connects into the shoulder joint. That's what we're focused on here. And just notice that arm as it circles around that joint. And just notice the movement as it flows, and notice the breath as it flows. You're trying to synchronize the two. We'll do one more, then we'll change the direction of the circles. So let's bring them back the other way. And once you get into any of these movements, it does no harm to close your eyes, focus on your balance, try and center yourself. We want to center the mind as well as the body. This is going to flow into a forward bend, and you'll know from previous classes how to execute your forward bend. So take yourself into a neutral posture. Start with the chin, tuck the chin into the chest, and gently stretch towards your knees and towards your toes. Take the first one nice and slow. Keep the chin tucked in and start to roll yourself back up. Rebuilding the spine. That's it. And we'll repeat that a few times at your own speed. And make sure that you're not mindless as you do this movement. I want you to be very aware of how it feels. Just imagine you're pouring yourself out of a tap into the sink. Just pouring yourself into that stretch. And slowly reversing the movement. Keep the core muscles engaged so you'll feel your tummy tucking in. But keep the arms loose. And you continue with that movement. I would encourage you to bend your knees as you do the forward bend. Little bend of the knees, take the stretch off the legs and put it into the back. We're going to do this one more time. And as you return back into a neutral position, just center yourself onto your feet. Lift your left heel and just feel all the weight now moving on to the right foot. I want you to feel the foot on the floor, feel your toes engaged with the mat. See if you can lift your toes. Just take a little moment now to find your balance point. Allow yourself to stand tall. Allow your breathing to flow naturally. Keep those core muscles engaged. And if you're having problems with your balance, just put your toes back lightly on the floor and use them to assist. You can challenge yourself further by letting the arms float down by your sides and allowing them to float up over your head. Be mindful and pay attention to how this feels in your body. We're going to keep the body calm. That's good. Let your breathing flow. And we'll do this one more time. Lengthen and release it slowly. Just float yourself back into the center. Move the weight across. Let's lift the heels. Center the weight onto the foot. And then lift your toes. Now your eyes play a big part in your balance, so I want you to focus on something in front of you. Really concentrate. Really focus your mind. You can lift that foot a little bit higher to challenge your balance. Let your arms rest by your sides. And as you breathe in, float your arms up over your head. That's good. And float back down slowly. How are we feeling out there? One more. If you've noticed that you're a little bit wobbly on one side, then maybe take a little moment in your spare time to work on your balance. And as you come back onto the center, give your legs a little shake out. And we're going to go to our first exercise proper. We'll take our forward bend into a plank and into a push-up. So engage your core and just gently pour yourself into that forward bend. Gently walk your hands to the front of your mat. If you want to add in the push-up, separate your hands a little bit wider and gently lower your body to the mat before pushing yourself away. We gently crawl back and we slowly rebuild ourselves. And we just flow straight into the next one. If you don't want to do the push-up, just hold that plank for one breath in and one breath out. So hopefully you're working at a level that suits you. And we'll do this 2 more times. You can make it more challenging by doing 2 push-ups in each movement. Keep them nice and slow. Be really mindful of your posture. Make sure your head doesn't drop. And we're going to go 1 more time. And we're just finishing this final one before returning back to neutral and rebuilding yourself. Give your shoulders a little shake out. And our next exercise will be on the mat, lying face down. Let's lengthen those arms out. As you're lying on your mat, try and pull your belly button in, rest your weight onto your ribs, and let your legs lengthen behind you. Clench your hips, float your knees and your feet off the floor. Feel as though your feet are reaching to that back wall, and just move into your swimming exercise. Now you can make it easier by bringing your hands in under your chin. But just make sure that your tummy doesn't push into the floor. If you want to make it more challenging though, we're going to move straight into the full version of this exercise. We're going to breathe 8 times really slowly. So whenever you're ready, lift your arms, start to bounce your hands, and count those breaths. And the key here is stability. We want to keep the body really stable. We also want to lengthen the body as we move. So keep reaching those hands away. That's good. Keep your head right down between your arms. We have time for 2 more breaths. And from there, float your arms back, push up on your knees, sit back into your heels, and just allow your head to rest into your arms. Move your hips side to side. Just take a little moment to loose out your back. Okay. So from there, bring yourself into the center of your mat. Place your hands in under your shoulders and widen out those hands. Engage the fingers, engage the knuckles, and just gently rest the heel of the hand in under the shoulders and allow the elbows to soften. See if you have any movement in your elbows or your shoulders, and then settle into neutral. Keep your knees in under your hips, let your feet relax. Let's take a little moment to ease into a cat stretch. Take 1 deep breath, allow the body to flow into that stretch. Then tilt your tailbone up into the air, lift your head. Allow your body to flow into a dog stretch. And gently move from one to the other. at your own speed. This is a lovely one to close your eyes and allow the movement to flow nice and gently with the breath. I want you to notice the different parts of your spine as you're moving it. So start your attention at your tailbone and around the pelvis. Then notice the lower part of your back starting to move. Then notice the mid-back and up around the shoulder blades. Then notice the neck going into the back of the head. Try and keep your chin tucked in. And allow that breathing to flow. Now this is mobility. This is what we need to do every day to mobilize the back. And your neutral posture is somewhere in the middle, and that's just where we rest into that central position. Making sure the head doesn't hang down here, making sure that the chin doesn't poke out like that, just allowing the head to rest into neutral, looking down between your hands. We're going to try and hold that neutral posture. Place your toes onto the mat, engage your arms and just allow your knees to lift an inch or so. And you're going to really feel this in your core, but I want you to maintain that neutral posture. So make sure the head doesn't drop down. Make sure the chin doesn't poke out. Just allow yourself to settle into neutral. Make sure the weight isn't all in the heel of the hand, so use the knuckles, use the fingers. Spread those fingers out. Breathe deep into your lungs and release slowly through your mouth. And if you're feeling any discomfort, just kneel down. Shake out any tension that might have built up in your joints. And then re-establish your neutral posture. Engage your core and try it again. So before you were mobilizing your spine and loosening out your back, here we're really stabilizing the core. We've put the spine into neutral and we're really stabilizing the core muscles. Be strong. Soften the joints. Use the muscles. We're going to hold this for one more breath. Then float your knees down. And give your back a little stretch out before we move on. And you're going to know how you feel, so I want you to explore your body. Loosen out whatever feels tight. And whenever you're ready, we're just going to sit somewhere towards the front of your mat. There we go. Just take a little moment to sit up really tall. And notice your sit bones on the mat. You're trying to avoid your lower back from collapsing like that. So really sit tall. Let the shoulders relax. And loosen out your neck. And we want to breathe into the lungs, so keep your belly flat. Take your hands to the side of your head. Imagine you have a hat on and you're lifting that hat as you breathe in. And you're releasing as you breathe out. Really lengthen the body as you breathe in and release slowly as you breathe out. We'll do this 3 more times. Try and reach a little bit higher each time. And if you feel any tension in your feet, let your feet relax. Last one. from there, just place your hands in under your thighs. And once your hands are holding on like that, it means your core muscles aren't doing as much. So if you need to place your hands to help at any point, that's what you do. And we're just going to gently tuck the chin into the chest and allow your lower back to roll slowly back, just a little bit, not too far. And then slowly roll up and sit tall. Take a little moment now to explore that movement. There we go. Take a little moment to explore that movement. If you want to make it more challenging, take your hands off. Just allow them to float in front of your chest. Let your breath flow in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you want to challenge yourself, roll back a little bit further each time until you're completely down on the mat. And we want to feel the spine rolling gently into the mat, one disc at a time. And we want to feel it peeling slowly away from the mat, one disc at a time. So how are you getting on with this one? Remember, it's about choosing a level that works for you. So if you don't want to do this version, then just go back to that half version. And if you need to use your hands at any point, just place them either underneath or in front of your knees. Okay, so you do this at your own speed. And get that flow with your breath, in on the way down, out on the way up. Let it flow. We're going to do 2 more of these. And I hope we're all feeling pretty good with the level that we've chosen. As you roll back for the last time, allow your arms to stretch back behind you. Allow your legs to stretch forwards. Take a big in-breath and lengthen out your body. Get a bit of movement into your ankles and into your toes, into your wrists and into your hands. There we go. And whenever you're ready, bend your knees. Lift your head up. Let's start off with the right foot just above the right knee, just like that. You're going to feel your lower back flat to the mat for now, and you're going to feel your tummy muscles engaged here. Let's lift the left foot up and just allow the big toes to touch. Arms are on the floor here by your sides, and we just allow the shoulders and the back of the head to float to the mat. And we flatten the lower back. As you flatten your lower back, you can feel your tummy engaged, and you can almost feel your tailbone lifting. So let's see if we lift the tailbone a little bit more. Use your out breath as you try to lift your tailbone. And it should feel like it's rolling up and it's rolling back down. And you want to use the stability with your arms there Keep your eyes on the roof. And just imagine you're aiming your toes towards the roof. And we roll up a little bit more. So I want you to continue that movement. Keep going at your own level and your own speed. How are you getting on? Be strong. Breathe out as you lift, as you aim your toes towards the roof. But when you're releasing it, I want you to focus on slowing that movement down. So it's like you're trying to settle your spine slowly back into the mat. You can lift with a little bit of power with that out breath, but just slow it on the release. Let's keep trying it. And if you really need to bring your knees in for a hug and to loosen out, then do at any point. But keep trying it. Really focus your eyes on the roof. Aim your feet towards that spot. That's good. So nice and slow on the release. So you're standing up onto your shoulders. I want you to keep going at your own speed. Keep trying it. Keep trying it. And if you need to bring your knees in for a hug at any point, do so. We'll give you another 30 seconds or so to work on that movement. So keep moving at it. Get a bit of power into that out breath as you lift. And really work on controlling the release. Notice how it feels in your body. I want you to notice what muscles are engaged. You can feel your arms working with you there. You can feel your shoulders stable on the floor. But you're trying to get that flow with the breath up and down. And when you finish this one, bring your knees in for a hug. Allow your shoulders to melt into the floor. Allow your head to rest onto your mat. And just loosen out. Then one foot at a time, just settle your feet onto the floor and straighten your legs out slowly. Okay. So our next exercise, we're going to do a scissors exercise or a scissor kick. But we're going to give you a little easier option first. So as you lie here, just lengthen your legs. Keep them slightly apart. Feel your belly flattening in under your ribs. Keep that little bit of tension in the tummy. Let the arms and shoulders relax. Breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, float one of your legs up. It doesn't matter which one we start with. And breathe in as you float it back down. Get ready to change to the opposite leg. Breathe out. And breathe in. And just keep transitioning from side to side. That's great. This is really slow, really slow. And as you lie there, just let your eyes gaze up onto the roof. And really focus. When you're lifting your leg, the other leg just completely relaxes. And I want you to notice how it feels in your core. We're taking one full breath per movement. You're in no rush. I just want to re-emphasize, keep the the arms and shoulders loose. Engage the core muscles. And breathe out as you float your foot up. And breathe in as you float your foot down. If you want to make that more challenging, lift your leg, hold it for a second. Lift your head. Clasp your hands around the back of your hamstrings. Point your toes. Breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, switch. As you breathe in, switch. There we go. Out through the mouth, in through the nose. We want to keep the neck loose, so there's no tension in the neck. Shoulders back. Really exaggerate the breathing. Imagine it blowing out through a straw. And remember, you have that easier option at any point. Be strong with your arms. It's okay if the knee bends a little bit. And we're going to do 2 more breaths. Nice and slow. Stay in control. And then bring your knees in for a hug. Allow any tension to leave your body. Just explore. Start with the feet and the toes, the shoulders and the neck. If you want to stretch your legs away and stretch your arms over your head, do so. Now we're going to repeat that for a second set. So, we straighten one leg out. We straighten one leg along the floor. Engage your core muscles. Hold on to the back of your thigh. Breathe in to prepare and breathe out as you switch. Breathe in as you switch and continue to flow from side to side. That's really good. So be strong. Be positive. We're going to continue for another few breaths, but I want you to know if you want to make it easier, just return to that first level. Let's continue this for 3 more breaths. So really pay attention to how your body feels. And allow the breath to flow in and out. How are we feeling as we get towards the end of this set? And when you're finished, just bring your knees in for a hug. Do a little rock and a roll and loosen your body out. And just sit yourself slowly up into the middle of your mat. Bring your knees in, push your heels in towards your hips. Wrap your arms around your shins. Allow your shoulders to relax. Focus on sitting tall. Right above your sit bones. Engage your core. Breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, we're going to lift the feet and just balance. And just like earlier, we're trying to avoid the back from rounding. So we want to lift the chest, lift the head high, keep the feet nice and loose. You can close your eyes while you're here and breathe. really pay attention to your breath. That's the only thing you're focusing on here. Just follow that breath. And make sure that you're sitting tall. And that your core muscles are engaged. Feel your belly pulling in under your ribs. How are we doing? We're going to hold this for another 3 breaths. Let the breath flow in through the nose, let it fill up your lungs, and release that energy back out. As you come to that final breath, we can release and just lay your body slowly back onto the floor. And we're going to do 100. So as you lay your body down, the first thing we want to establish is your neutral spine. If you slide one of your hands in under your lower back and just notice the curve that's there. We don't want to exaggerate that curve, but we don't want to flatten it either. We want to stay neutral. And we need to really engage the core muscles in order to do that. So when you feel like you're bracing yourself, it's like you're emptying all of the air out of your belly. You're hollowing the tummy. I want to float the right foot up onto an imaginary table or chair. And if you look for a little second, the knee should be over the hip and the foot should be in line with the knee. Arms slowly by your sides. Really engage the core and float the other foot as well. At this point, make sure your lower back is in neutral. Take your arms by your sides and let them hover. And just slowly start to bounce them. Allowing the breath to flow in and out. And if you want to make this more challenging, we're going to lift the head and stretch the legs at the same time. So breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, we lengthen. We can start to increase the speed of that bounce. Maybe bounce a little bit harder. Breathe right into your lungs. We're breathing 10 times, guys. So you're about halfway there. 5 breaths to go. Lengthen those legs. Almost feel like you're squeezing your feet together. We've time for one more breath, and when you finish this one, bring your knees in for a hug. Rest your head down. Float your feet to the floor. Stretch your legs away. And stretch your arms behind your head. Take the next 60 seconds to lengthen your body. If you feel any tension in your body, try and let that tension go. Let your neck and shoulders relax. Every time you breathe in, lengthen your fingers and your toes further apart. Take your arms up over your head, bring them back to your tummy and bend your knees. Okay, so we're going to do one more exercise, and for this one we need to roll onto your side and push up. Take your time as you lay your body down onto the floor. Just take a little moment to ease your body into that mat. And make sure that your belly isn't bulging into the floor. We're going to do a little stretch of the right thigh. So just a couple of little knee bends to loosen out the knee. Maybe do a couple of little circles with your ankle, trying to loosen out the ankle. Then reach back with your hands, wrap your hand around your shoelaces, and gently take your heel towards your hip. And keep that opposite arm nice and light on the floor. Just lift your nose a little bit. Rest onto your ribs and try and keep your belly lifted. And gently nudge your pelvis into the mat and push your foot into your hand. And try and lift that thigh a little bit. And then relax that one. Rest your head onto the floor and pull your heel to your hip. And make sure you're not forcing anything. Just flow into the stretch. We're going to release this one. And let's go with the opposite leg. So a couple of little bends of the knee. Loosen out that knee joint. When you're doing this side, I want you to be mindful and just notice if it's any different to the other side. Notice if it's tighter or if it's easier. Loosen out your ankle. A couple of little circles of the ankle. And whenever you're ready, reach your hand back, wrap it around your shoelaces. Gently bring your heel towards your hip. And stay soft in your opposite arm. Lift your chest. And just gently nudge the pelvis into the floor. Lift your thigh. Push your foot into your hand. It's like your foot is trying to push through your hand, but your hand is pulling back at the same time. So be strong with your arm. Keep that opposite leg relaxed. And gently relax the stretch. Bring your head to the mat. And gently bring your heel to your hip. And if you've noticed an imbalance in your flexibility, then it's something that you can be aware of, and it's something you can work on in the future. We're going to release this one. And your final challenge is to try to attempt both at the same time. So again, we can start off by bending the knees. And you'll know if you're able to do those last two stretches comfortably, then you can attempt this one. And you can loosen up the ankles and the toes and get ready. Wrap your hands slowly around your shoelaces. Bring your big toes together, bring your knees into neutral alignment. Rest onto your rib cage, lift your chest, lift your nose. Tuck your chin in. Nudge your pelvis into the floor and lift your thighs and push your feet into your hands and pull with the arms. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, try and go a little bit harder. And just notice how your endurance feels. If you need to slowly come out of this movement at any point, you can. And when you feel ready to rejoin it, just engage your core. breathe deep. Always breathe out for the effort. You can release out at any point, but I want you to continue for another 30 seconds. So let's try it again. How does that feel? Just stay mindful of your breath, fully concentrating on your own movement. And we'll hold it for another 10 seconds. This is our last exercise, guys. So give every last little bit of effort you have to this final breath. And when you feel ready to release one leg at a time, use your hands to push up onto your knees. Sit back into your heels and ease yourself into a child pose. And we can start by moving the hips slowly from side to side, loosening out the lower back, then settling somewhere in the middle. Take your hands towards your feet. Let the palms of your hands face upwards. And allow the top of the head to rest onto the floor. Let your shoulders wrap around your knees. And let your breathing flow. I'm going to stay here for another 10 seconds. And whenever you're ready, start to move. Take the hands by your sides and lift your head. Just slowly come up onto your knees. Just slowly come up onto your feet. And take the last 30 seconds to loosen out your joints. Loosen out your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, to see what movement you have in that upper body. Let's do a gentle flowing movement from side to side. Just rotate the upper body, keeping the knees focused on the front of the room. There we go. You can feel the waves flowing from side to side. And just allow yourself to float into the middle. And that's us done for this video. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.